Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jo Murdoch, and I'm the Managing Director here at North East Water, and I'm delighted to have you with us today for another edition of North East Water's Community Webinar Series. This one is focusing on our mid-year customer report card. Now, I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands and waters on which we operate and are meeting today in all our different places. We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us today in our communities and working here at North East Water. Now, before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping tips and tricks so that we do have a smooth session. Now, please note that all audience members will have their cameras and microphones switched off for this webinar, and this webinar is being recorded and will be available via our website after the session. We'll also send a link out to access the recording afterwards so that you can share it with others, and please, we encourage you to do so. And if you've got some questions, you can submit your questions at any time during using the Q&A function. So not the chat function, the Q&A function. We'll address any questions throughout the session. If we don't get to them, we'll send that out to you afterwards. Now, before we deep dive into our main topic, I'd like to give you a brief overview of North East Water and what we do. Essentially, we plan for and provide critical water and wastewater services to 39 towns across a 20,000 square kilometre region. So our region covers the major cities of Wodonga, Wangaratta, Benalla. It includes Yarrawonga, the beautiful alpine towns of Bright, Myrtleford and Mount Beauty, through to our unique indigo towns of Beechworth, Yakandanda, Kiwatang, Gambalanga area, and up north to the Corryong and Walwa areas, all the beautiful smaller towns in between. In all, we service about 120,000 people, ensuring they have access to high quality, clean and safe water. Now, while most of our customers are residential, we also service about 5,000 major industries and commercial businesses across the Northeast. Now, to deliver these services, we operate 21 water treatment plants and 22 wastewater treatment plants. We've got an extensive pipe network, which includes about 1,300 kilometres of sewer mains, 1,800 kilometres of water mains. So it's a lot of infrastructure that we service in our region. We also provide recycled water, untreated water and standpipe water access for our communities. And importantly, we are always planning for the future. And that is a future where our region is growing, our climate is changing, and technology is advancing rapidly, particularly with AI. And it's a future where we need to do everything we can to support customers who may be experiencing difficulty paying their bills or vulnerable at any given time. And that's through our customer care services and support programs. And finally, I want to mention we are proud to employ over 200 highly skilled and experienced local people who provide absolutely exceptional services and support for our region. A little bit about our key strategy before we dive into our performance results. So Strategy 2040 is North East Water's blueprint for the future. And it was developed following 18 months of engagement with our board, with key regional stakeholders and customers. Strategy 2040, our Strategy 2040 vision is for a healthy environment, thriving community and prosperous region. And our purpose, why we exist, why we're here, and something we never forget, is to deliver safe and sustainable water and wastewater solutions for our communities. This is our core role. Now, supporting our vision and purpose are our customer outcomes. This is what we're going to be talking about today. And those customer outcomes were originally introduced as way back when we developed our 2013 price submission with our customers and community, and validated with the independent regulator, the Essential Services Commission. And then we again retested those customer outcomes in our 2018 price submission. Now, we are just about to move in to a brand new price period from the 1st of July 2026, and our customer outcomes will be updated with some revised outcomes that we developed with our customers as part of our engagement process for that price submission. But for now, we're going to be focusing on our existing customer outcomes, and they are, as you can see on the screen, affordable, reliable, local, responsive, efficient and sustainable. And these form the basis of our performance report webinar to you today. Now, the next slide shows just another view of those customer outcomes, and it's a little bit hard to read, but I'm going to, you'll be able to see these. We'll send this to you separately. But each of the 6 outcomes I mentioned before are then further split into 12 values. I'll give you 2 examples. For example, the customer outcome of responsive. Now, the key values for that are timely responses, that is, service responses match customer expectations and inclusive decision. Timely responses is service responses match customer expectations. And the second one is inclusive decisions. So our communities are involved in the decisions that affect them. And another example is the customer outcome of reliable. Now, the 2 key values are clean, safe drinking water and resilient systems. So, for example, resilient systems is if our systems cope with disruption and severe weather events. Now, we're going to go a little deeper now and share with you the results of our performance for each of these 6 customer outcomes for the 6-month period to December 30, 2025. And the first one is for me to talk about, and that is around affordable prices. And the first value and measure is around fair prices. Now, in terms of fair prices, for over a decade, North East Water has had some of the lowest water bills in regional Victoria. For example, in 2024-25, our average bill was $1,080, in line with the commitment we made to customers when we set our prices back in 2018. And this compares to the average of $1,328 for the average regional Victorian water bill. Now, one factor important for keeping bills fair is encouraging and helping customers to pay their bills on time. And we do a lot of communication in this regard. And I'm pleased to say that our performance result for the first half of 25-26, we saw 81% of our customers pay their bills on time, which is slightly above the target of 80%. And this is a really great result. And I want to thank customers for your help with this. Now, we do continue to monitor this measure to see if there's any significant impact on customers' ability to pay on time due to increased cost of living pressures, and we'll continue to make available our customer support services. And so that brings me to the next value, and that is customer support. And we do understand that customers from time to time do face financial difficulties, which is why we provide support in the form of bill relief, through rebates, support in applying for government grants. For example, you may not know, but we support customers to access the government utility relief grant, which is a grant of $650 every 2 years to help pay your water bill. We also provide leak rebates and plumbing rebates. We help set up affordable payment plans. We help access and apply Commonwealth concessions and lots more. Now, one of the measures that we measure is the number of customers having their water restricted, and we had set a target of less than 180. Now, I'm pleased to say that in the first half of 25-26, we did not have any restrictions. Now, I'm going to, at this point, introduce John Day to talk about our next outcome, which is reliable service. Now, John Day is our General Manager of Environment, Systems and Operations, and an expert in all things operations. So, John, do you want to talk us through these customer outcomes?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And as Joe pointed out before, our purpose is to deliver water and wastewater services for the North East, and one of those key principles is around delivering safe drinking water. We're dedicated to delivering 100% compliance of safe drinking water under the water regulations and the Safe Drinking Water Act of 2003. This is also validated with over 71,000 tests that we do in the field to validate that we are achieving that and to ensure that. So currently we are 100% compliant and travelling well, even though we had some issues earlier in the year with some heavy rainfall events, certainly in Wodonga, and we do thank the Wodonga residents for working with us when we had that short boiled water notice, but we do appreciate your support when we had that. But we've still been able to supply 100% drinking water and safe drinking water. In our reliable systems, so how we're going with getting that water to you in the pipes, we've had the number of unplanned water supplies is currently sitting at 2.5 at a target of 7, so travelling very well. So our systems aren't breaking. And if you go to the next slide, Joe, We have, however, drifted out a little bit to 109 minutes. Our target is to be below 100 minutes in the amount of time a customer could be without water in unplanned water supply. So we're travelling quite well, but we've had a couple of big events, and those big events happened earlier in the year when we went from sort of a dry climate into a really dry, hot weather climate, and the ground moved quite a bit, and we saw a significant jump in the amount of bursts and large bursts in Wodonga and Wangaratta. So a couple of those events took us out to 109, but pretty close to that 100 minutes for our target. I'll hand over to you, Joe, for the next one.
Yeah, thanks, John. And the next value is around inclusive decisions. So we measure the number of customers or the percentage of customers that are satisfied with North East Water in our engagement and community inclusion. And, the result is, while our target was 90% and our result was just under that at 86.1%, that's still a very good result. And I think that reflects the significant engagement program that we had throughout, particularly over the last 12 months, 12 to 18 months through our price submission. So we engaged with more than 6,800 people, or approximately 12% of our customer base, to help develop our next set of customer outcomes in our draft price submission. We did that through town kiosks, stakeholder interviews, online focus groups and surveys, and a bill simulator. We engaged with traditional owners, regional leaders, vulnerable customers, support agencies, major customers, developers, and of course our customer and community advisory group. We also engage on other activities, including 22 capital works projects. We had biannual developer forums and regular stakeholder meetings, including with government and with local councils and with our regulators, the Essential Services Commission, the EPA and the Department of Health. We also maintained regular communication through targeted updates and media releases and digital channels. We gave clear messaging on key topics such as sewer protection and water use. And we also had our fantastic customer newsletter Splash, which is distributed with bills, that shares updates on our customer support programs and all of our services. And John, this is back to you now, efficient systems.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And now I'll talk to you about the other part of our core business delivery. I talked about water. This is around measurements around wastewater and some water ones too. But the main one here is around the asset stewardship of sewer main blockages per 100 kilometres. We're sitting below the target currently at 5 and our target of 6. So we've had a very good run of keeping our sewer systems flowing, although they were tested in that recent rain event, which we had in Wodonga, but did maintain flow and very little spill. So that was a great outcome considering we had a 1 in 2,000 year rain event. For non-revenue water, so this is the amount of how much leakage we have out of our systems. It's at 13 with a target of 10. We have come down from a result of 15 this time last year. We're making big inroads in the towns of Bright, Mount Beauty, and Yarrawonga, which are some of our leakiest towns, if you like. And we've been able to engage with a consultant at the moment who is a specialist in leakage and finding those leaks in Bright. So residents of Bright, if you start to see some people getting around and looking for leaks, that's what it's all about. And also, we really do put a call out for people in Yarrawonga, Mount Beauty and Bright. If you do see any water bubbling up or see any water that doesn't seem to be where it normally should be green, please give us a call, because we're looking for every leak that we can find at the moment. So it's really important, especially in a very dry climate that we're working in at the moment, if not all times. Next slide. Over to you, Joe.
That's back to me. Thanks, John. So the next outcome is local focus, and the value and the measure is local people. So customers are satisfied with North East Water staff local knowledge, and it's a terrific result. So our target's 80%. Our result is just above that at 82.8%. And I think this consistent score each quarter just reflects our customers' high level of satisfaction with the local knowledge that our North East Water staff have, where our services are supplied solely by staff who are part of our the communities that we serve. The next measure is education and awareness. So customers are satisfied that North East Water is educating them about water conservation. And again, that's a really great result. So the target is 90%, and we've just hit that at 90.2%. But in terms of education and awareness, yeah, this is a pleasing result. Our WaterWise campaign continued to educate communities about water conservation practices. We had targeted messaging via our social media channels and our quarterly customer newsletter Splash. We also continue to provide the majority of schools in the region with access to up-to-date water consumption information about the school's water efficiency program. And this program enables the detection and rectification of leaks that have been identified through monitoring of each school's water use. And I did want to add one, when we talked about the WaterWise campaign and water conservation practices, we've done a lot of work in communicating with towns through this hot and dry weather that we've been experiencing, particularly in townships like Myrtleford, Bright, and Yackandandah, in terms of encouraging communities to just be very wary of their water use and help us reduce the amount of water that they use so we can get through these hot and dry periods. And then finally, back to you, John.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. So first off, with the compliance with EPA licenses. So we're sitting at a result of 97 for a target of 100%. Those are mainly around 2 plants, which really pleasingly, we're about to do major upgrades at the Beechworth wastewater treatment plant and at the Bright wastewater treatment plant. Equally, it does reflect on those really heavy rainfall events where we did have a couple of spills earlier on, just before Christmas, and then literally a couple of weeks ago. So travelling very well in that space, and it really pleasing that we've got some big projects coming up in the next 12 months with major augmentations. The other big major augmentation or upgrade that we're currently doing is around the smaller footprint, and people who have driven past West Wodonga may have noticed at the back end the new covered anaerobic lagoons, which we are using to capture gas and generate energy. So the 3 megawatt solar that is there on site will generate solar during the day, and then at night time we'll switch over to the gas, and that we run off natural gas that we produce ourselves with the capture of methane. That'll get us down to that 4,000, which we currently are against a target of 9,000. And if you think 3 years ago we were sitting at 30,000 tonnes per equivalent per year, to actually finish the year under 10,000 tonnes has been a significant drop, and through those projects and, you know, what I would call keystone projects for the corporation. The other one around that is we are now 100% renewable energy to all of our sites. So all of our energy that we use is green, and that's through the 3 megawatt solar and behind the meter solar installations we have, which will be reinforced with this after the sun goes down or the wind doesn't blow, we can rely on gas that we're generating ourselves at West Wodonga. And the next one is over to you, Joe.
Yes,
oh no, this one's mine or yours?
It's a bit of both.
It's a bit of both,
John.
Yeah.
Why don't you kick off?
Oh, look, just a quick shout out, Joe. I'd be remiss of me if I didn't shout out to the Yackandandah residents. We had some earlier issues around water security. The Yackandandah Creek was very low in its flows. And we asked the community and reached out to the community, instead of going on to restrictions, that if they could work with us to avoid restrictions. And very pleasing to say that they've done an amazing job to get under the target we were after, around about that I think we were after 170 litres per person, and they'd been as low as 160, which has been a fantastic result. All our other systems are travelling really well at the moment. Obviously, recent rainfall has helped us. Places like Buffalo Creek and others where we've been able to extract with the passing flows coming back up again. So looking very good, but also looking very dry going into next year.
Yeah, and John, I might add to all of that and say that an enormous amount of work is being done on developing our next 5-year urban water strategy. So we do that every 5 years. It's a foundational strategy for our corporate strategy 2040, and also future price submissions. And we've been, as I said, we've been doing a lot of engagement on that and looking at what does the future look like for the next 50 years for water security, so that our customers and community can be really assured that we're planning and delivering for the future to ensure water security for our region.
And probably just one shout out on that one too, Joe. Great to have a meeting last week with Golden Murray Water, we are starting to initiate dry flow in contingency planning. And it's great that our bulk water provider is bringing all of us together and making sure that we're planned and prepared for next year.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, John. So that brings us to the end of the 6 customer outcomes, but I thought I would also quickly touch on a couple of other things. So our regulator, the Essential Services Commission, also they actually survey a number of customers 4 times a year, looking at key metrics like trust, overall satisfaction, value for money, and reputation. I just thought I'd show you how North East Water benchmarks with the other water corps in Victoria. And you can see 4 levels of trust. We sit 4th out of, I think there's 16 or 17 listed there. You can see I think that's a pretty solid result. And thank you to our customers for putting your trust in us here at North East Water. And that was for the March to November. It's a 6-month rolling period that they measure against. And the next slide shows the overall satisfaction, and you can see we actually sit 4th for overall satisfaction as well, which I think is a pretty pleasing result. But we want to keep doing everything we can to build trust and confidence with our customers so that we keep improving all the time and maybe one day get to number 1. And value for money, you can see that we're sitting at 5th in the benchmarking for all the Victorian water corporations. And we recognise that we continue to want to provide that absolute value for money in the services that we provide to our customers. And we've always had one of the lowest or the second lowest water bills in Victoria. We've also had one of the lowest or second lowest water bills nationally as well, and that's close to $500 less than the national average for what's categorised as large water corporations, which we are. So I hope that that's something that our customers can see, that there is certainly value in the services that we provide at North East Water, but we hope that we can continue to communicate that and to our customers and community going forward. And reputation in the community, you can see that we're still sitting in the top 6, which I think is a really strong position. But again, we're going to continue to do everything we can to generate and develop confidence with our community to keep building the customer perception of North East Water. And just a couple of extra slides, just as a little bit of information. So we do publish our performance results. So what we talked about today are published on our website every 6 months. And I do believe they're also published on the ESC website as well. So if you want to go and have a look at these in a bit more detail, you can go and do that. And you might have a question about how you might be able to provide feedback to us about what you've heard today or anything that we do here at North East Water. And we always encourage you to get involved. And if you go to our website, you'll find ways in which you can contact us through our website, through email, through social media, and we'll always welcome your feedback. And we also have a fabulous page on our website called Have Your Say. And we've got a whole range of projects that at any given time we're engaging on. So you can see I mentioned the urban water strategy there before. So we're still engaging on that at the moment. Our price submission engagement has wrapped up from our perspective because we did several years of engagement for our price submission. But the ESC is also will be releasing its draft report on our price submission shortly, and there'll be another opportunity for the community to have provide feedback once they've released their draft determination. So stay tuned. You can watch our website or follow the ESC's website. And you can see there's another example there. We've been engaging for some time on the Mount Beauty raw water offtake, but there's lots of projects on that Have Your Say page. So if you're interested in water, you're interested in water security, you're interested in wastewater, recycle water, circular economy, jump online and have a look. Now, that brings me to the Q&A section, the questions and answers. And I don't know if we've actually got any questions and answers, which is okay. If you do have anyone listening to this webinar at any given time and you do have a question, shoot us through an email. We're very happy to answer your questions. But for now, I'd like to say thank you and thank you for joining us. And you know, if you would like to know more information about anything you've heard today, our customer outcomes, our performance, our customer support program. So if you're struggling to pay your bill at any given time, we're here to help you. So give us a call we would certainly love to speak to you and be able to provide assistance. You can stay informed through our website, and I think that's about it. So thank you very much for joining us, everybody, and I look forward to talking to you about performance again in 6 months. Bye.